Well, Jack, it's only taken you 31 years to get back here. What took you so long?
Well, yeah, we've been back home. You know, I've been down here 4 or 5 times racing in the past. I think it was 80, 81, and back in. And you know, I always enjoyed coming down here and racing. And I got busy at racing at home and things at home. So, you know, I'm glad to be back down.
Okay, be honest. Elvis never liked flying, and you don't like flying either.
Well, not really. You know, it's not one of my favorite things to do. But you know, we had a good flight down this time, and everything went smooth. And just glad to be back down.
Why is it about flying that you don't like? That you're not in control?
Well, I think that's part of it. And yeah, you know, you can get in that wind turbulence. It's quite a scare sometimes. But
what about roller coasters then?
I don't care for that much either.
That surprises me, Jack, because you've been on some of the biggest roller coaster rides of your own doing for a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hope we don't have any of them.
Now, back home for you right now is normally a quiet time, normally snow. What are you normally doing around home?
Well, usually we you know, just build race cars in the winter time in my shop, and you know, just get cars ready for the following season. So, but yeah, we were glad to come back down and get away from that a little bit.
Snowmobile racing? Like, what do you do in the snow? You race anything then?
No, not don't race nothing. Sprint cars.
I heard your backyard is pretty impressive. Is a go-kart track or something involved back there?
Oh yeah, you know, we've always had you know, motorcycle tracks and go-kart tracks, so we've always had something in the backyard to play with.
Have you ever done anything but race a sprint car? Have you ever had a job that you had to do because you couldn't race cars, or has this been your job the whole time?
Pretty much racing's been my whole job from day one.
Is it a glamorous life, Jack?
You know, I've always enjoyed it. You know, we raced the Outlaws mostly for most of them years, and you know, in the last few years we've been racing, you know, just wherever. But you know, I wouldn't do nothing else.
You would have seen just about pretty well all of America, I would think, by a motorhome.
Oh yeah. We've traveled. You know, we've raised our kids in the motorhome, and you know, they grew up in the motorhome from day one.
What is it about these things, Jack, that still makes you get in and drive them? Because they've bitten you pretty hard over the years, but you still keep coming back. What is it about them?
You know, there's nothing funner than driving a sprint car. You know, it just you know, the speed and the horsepower they have, it's just unreal, and you know, they're fun to drive. It just I think it's the funnest racing there is.
Do you get time when the car's really hooked up to go, oh, this is what I love about my job? Is there a time in any race where you go, this is it?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, when you're with a good team, and you know, the car's working good and you're running good every night, you know, it makes it, you know, it makes it a lot more fun.
I read a really great story, Brad Doty's book, which was just phenomenal. And there was a wonderful story about all you kids standing around a quarry. I'm going to call it a quarry, a big stone thing, with a big lake down at the very bottom, and the guys were... Do you recall that story, and could you tell us that story?
Oh yeah. We them guys are my brother and Brad Doty and Kenny Jacobs. We used to go to strip mines, and them guys told me they were jumping off a big cliff at a strip mine, and went up there, and it was quite a big jump, and they said they jumped off of it, and so I bailed off of it and jumped off of it, but I'm not sure if they did or not. So
pretty sure they didn't.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Your son now races. That must be exciting.
Yeah, it really is. You know, he started racing motorcycles when he was 3 and 4 years old, and you know, he raced motocross for 11 years, and you know, he made the choice to go to sprint cars when he was 16, and he's been racing now for 5 or 6 years, and yeah, it's a joy. You know, enjoy watching him, and you know, and watch him progress.
What's it like when you're racing with him? Is it hard to just make him another car?
Yeah, you just kind of focus as another car, and you know, don't worry too much about that.
What are your interests away from racing? Do you have any?
Oh, no, not really. You know, I enjoy working on the cars and building cars and stuff, and working in the shop mostly if I'm not racing.
What about music?
You know, I enjoy all kinds of music.
Okay. How do you and Patty spend time away from racing? Is there time to have a life away from racing? Do you go to the movies, or do you do anything around home? Because you've pretty well been in Worcester most of your life.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, you know, we travel so much during the year racing and going everywhere. So, you know, when we got off in the winter time, we usually just kind of take it easy.
Is there a time at any point in these things where you've been scared, Jack, where things have gotten out of control and you've gone, ooh, this can be big?
You know, I mean, you usually don't have time in one of these if you're crashing them to get scared. I mean, you usually just, you know, if something big's going to happen, just tuck and, you know, hope for the best. But, you know, things happen so quick in a sprint car, you know, you don't really have time to get scared.
You're not the kind of guy that has to sell yourself to an owner. I don't imagine you're on the phone ringing up trying to say, hey, how about we drive your car this weekend? Your reputation sells your drives, I would think, where people call you. Is that the case?
Well, you know, that was it was a lot easier, you know, back when I was younger. You know, it's older now, and you know, there's a lot of good young guys coming up. There's tons of them, so it's you know, I'm not afraid to call somebody and ask for a ride, and you know, if I got a call, I call. So it's definitely tougher than it used to be, and like I said, there's a lot of good young drivers out there, and so I've been calling a few people now and then.
Is there a specific part of your career that you remember the most fondly? I mean, for me, I just remember the Eldon car when you guys were just running rampant and winning the big money shows. But is that the golden time?
Oh yeah, it definitely was. You know, I drove for Jac Eldon and I hooked up with him and raced for him, I think, for 9 years in the Pennzoil car, and we had the Pennzoil sponsorship all that time. So yeah, you know, them are the years that, you know, I'll always remember the best as the Pennzoil days.
And at times, I guess, there's also been some real little teams along the way that you've driven for on the weekends, and you probably had no pressure and just rolled out there and had fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've you know, I've worked with you know, I've worked with all the best mechanics in the country, and you know, tons of good mechanics and good car owners, really good car owners. I've had a ton of good car owners, and you know, just it's nice when you get the right team together and click, and when you are running good, it makes it that much funner.
Why do people buy your shirts? I know it's a hard question to answer, but you have this appeal, Jac, where you don't seem to pee off anybody other than maybe someone you bounced off. Why do you look out in the crowd and see thousands of your t-shirts year after year, regardless of really your race results?
Yeah, I don't know, you know, but you know, we started out you know, way back when me and Steve and Sammy were selling a lot of shirts, and you know, I had a good fan following, and I definitely have been lucky enough to have a good following, and you know, been fortunate to sell a lot of shirts, and you know, the nickname helps a lot. You know, that I don't hurt nothing. My wife Patty, she definitely promotes my shirts good and does a good job with that. So you know, I've been fortunate there.
One day you won't do this, which I didn't want to think about because I want you to do it forever. When you look back on it, would you like to be remembered for anything in particular by the racers and by the fans? If people say, oh wow, Jac, I remember, what attributes do you think you'd like to be remembered for when people think about you as a racer?
Yeah, just you know, the guys I raced against, you know, just being competitive, and you know, we've always you know, thought we were a pretty clean driver, so you know, just competitive driver, just like you know, the rest of them.
Last couple of questions. The Mopar million. Can you describe what it was like to win that amount of money?
Not really. That was crazy to win that kind of money. You know, you know, if you were going to win a race, that was definitely the right one to win. And you know, it was fun because it was a non-wing race. I always remember it, and you know, you'll never forget the big money it paid to win. And you know, and I had it at Eldor, and one of my favorite tracks. So I'll never forget that one.
Now, didn't Earl ban you from there at one stage?
We've had a couple run-ins with Earl a couple times. You know, Earl's a tough dude, so we've had a couple little run-ins, and yeah, he let me. He still let me race that night, but we've had a couple run-ins. You've
had two of the biggest wins in your career in wing and non-wing, with the Mopar being non-wing and HBO being winged, of course. What's more fun, a wing car or non?
Well, I don't know. I've always said it's like having your girlfriend or wife shaved or unshaved. It's beautiful either way.